just came here for the love, but the path I took has led me somewhere else. The twists and turns and ups and downs were rough, but you never let them break me down. My spirit always had enough. But when the world comes down and pushes me around, harsh words and deeds from ones we love, well, God knows I love you. God knows I'm good. God knows what's in my heart.
Good morning. Welcome to the center.
Good to be here.
Good morning.
Morning. We're here at Center for Spiritual Living in Las Vegas.
Welcome to the center.
Yeah, you are here. Welcome.
Maybe just how you know how many beings within everybody who lives. Start from the one. All right.
Yeah, because it's a perfect sound.
It is. It's delicious.
So yeah.
Oh, good morning. We're having a soup and salad fundraising, the Ministry of Prayer, for today, Sunday, April, I forgot the date. 8th. Sorry. Yeah, and this would be for our Reverend's ordination this coming Friday, the 13th at Sun Coast. So please be there. We'll be having fun.
As each of us breathe in love, breathing out love. Knowing that each and every one of us are here by divine appointment. The love that is felt here at this center. Imagine it as a plant with roots into Mother Earth. And that plant is growing and it's going to bloom into a beautiful flower. Each one of you here today, each of us, are an individual bloom, flower. That flower is love and peace and joy, harmony. Just looking at each one of you and the flower that you are is exuding love and peace everywhere you go, everywhere each of us go. Each of us are the love and the light. The calmness, the tranquility that is in our hearts. Feel that love, that peace in your heart and my heart as we go into a moment of silence. feel the peace that flows into your body, around your body, that love that is surrounding each of our bodies. Such a wondrous feeling, and knowing that each of us are an expression of God's love. And each one of us take that out into the world when we leave this loving sanctuary. Others feel the love, the light, the joy that we exude. Just feeling the peace, the love in your heart. It is within each one of us. The love, the light that each one of you are, that I am. And please join me in saying Namaste.
Missed you. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment,
it is comfortable for you, please lower your eyes or close your eyes and allow my words to be your words. There is one God, that infinite givingness of all creation. God is love, God is peace, God is joy, God is harmony, God is abundance. Oh, God is in me, as me, through me is me. And I know that if this is true for me, it is also true for each and every person here today. I know that today's service will unfold with the love and the givingness and the openness of each and every one's mind. Their heart is open and allowing all this love and spirit and light to flow into them with ease and grace. I declare right here and right now that God is always good, and that good is ours. I am so grateful and thankful for this love that we share in our spiritual home. I am so grateful and thankful for our reverends, Reverend Cheryl and Reverend Stacy and Reverend Dan, and the Ministry of Prayer team that allows all this love to flow out into our community and our families and our loved ones. I am so grateful and thankful for our beautiful music that fills our heart with joy and happiness and puts a smile on our face each Sunday. I am so grateful and thankful for all of our volunteers that allows our center to run with such ease and grace. I am so thankful and grateful for our audio squad and Julius for the beautiful pictures and the memories that he creates for us through all our givingness and love. And I am so grateful and thankful for this truth. And I release my word into the perfect law, knowing that it is already manifested and it is done. And please join me in saying, and so it is. Amen.
Oh, gosh, you guys opened this with such beauty. I was so in the mood for today anyway. And if you're chilly, which I know you might be, I'm not. But if you're chilly, I need you to get up with me and do a little move around. I'm telling you, it's gonna help. Yes. You know what's coming, right? Now really help me now. I'm very meek and mild. So help me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I'm faking, I'm not meek or mild. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Yeah.
standing, if it's comfortable for you, if you would say with me, with your hand over your heart, God bless America and the rest of the world. And just turn to a neighbor and just say good morning, greet them. Yesterday, I think, was the last day of Passover, and so we were doing Annie was going to do a presentation, but she did bring show us a video that we would like to show. Thank you. Thank you, Russell.
We were all once slaves in a foreign land. 400 years of sweat, tears, and sand. At the end of the day, God chose our nation to embark on a journey of mass immigration. With the great wonders we were saved from our affliction. We see the total legacy for generations. Land of Israel ahead, we were on our way. To Jerusalem, we say until this day. To family and friends, we open up our doors. Box and fill the manish heavens galore. That wherever we settle, be a nation alike. That'll know we suffer, we don't come and make right. Soft little stories, you just can't dismiss. The power of tradition, no mortal can resist. More comes later, we left the new earth. Feel the magic and the wonder of the Seder.
Abby, thank you for bringing that in. You know, it's entertaining and as, I think it's educational too, if you could hear the words, and that was our point. And we actually attended our first Seder a couple weeks ago, Stacy, I, and my niece, at, who put it on? Anti-Defamation League. It was beautiful service. It was awesome to get the meaning of everything. So it was very educational for us as well. So we just want to remind you all that we honor our paths to God. Thank you.
Today, I am honored to be able to sing backup with this lady. She is one of the truest singers that have ever been singing here in Las Vegas. She is a singer-songwriter, and she is playing on the strip right now as Janis Joplin at the Flamingo. So if you can go by and go see her, she's incredible. I've seen video, it's incredible. You're incredible. She is actually going to be selling some CDs. She usually sells them. She told me today she will accept any kind of love offering in any denomination, but she sells them usually for $10 a piece. That is the biggest steal ever. Please help me welcome an incredible entertainer, Michelle Roll.
Wow. Just first of all, the energy here is always so amazing, and today's no different. You guys just are amazing, amazing, amazing. And this song I want to do for you, I wrote, and it's about, I won't tell you too much. I like to let people make up their own minds, but I did want to explain, because I always write positive music, but this one's a little different. And if you've ever felt judged or misunderstood, or, you know, we're still human, and this was a very human moment when I wrote this. And so that's all I'll say about it. Enjoy.
Twists and turns and ups and downs were rough, but you never let them break me down. My spirit always had enough, but when the world comes down and pushes me around, harsh words and deeds from ones we love, sometimes I'm someone other than myself. If you push me to my limit, I can bend. When I'm finally pressed too hard against desperate cries. I know you forgive me 'cause I can't realize God knows I love you, and God knows you're good. God knows what's in your heart. God knows, God knows, God knows the truth. Well, I can make a plan, perfect it to the end, but I'm not in charge, so I keep sailing against the wind. You can tell them all that I'm the one to blame, but if you know me, you know that I'm the same. The doors all around me begin to close, but I see an open window and I know you're never gonna leave me far behind. 'Cause without these looming mountains, I would have never learned to climb. So now as I let go and give you your control, I finally can be everything you tried me to be. God knows I love you, and God knows I'm good. God knows what's in my heart. God knows, God knows, God knows the truth. God knows the truth.
Well, good morning. And the title of our talk today is The Individual and the Universal. And this whole thing started last Sunday at our Sunday service. And you'll recall that our beautiful Revs reminded us that the universe, that God, that the universal is expressing itself in the individual. That the universal is expressing itself in each individual here. And so what we learn from that is that God emanates and permeates as us. And we begin to understand that the universal then and the individual are one. And then our Revs went about reminding us that if that is true, then literally our hands are the hands of God. And that becomes very important. Our hands become very important. And they become very powerful because that is how we serve each other. And so we went about anointing and honoring and blessing each other's hands with oil. Now, I don't know if you remember what that felt like. But it had such a powerful effect on me. The whole energy in the room just changed. And what came up for me was this, that something very powerful happens when one being reaches out in love, and most importantly, reaches out with respect. Because we have seen in our history in the last year or two that when people reach out without respect, there's something that is very dishonoring in that. But when a being reaches out in love and respect and reaches out to another human being with their hands, to bless and to honor and to love and to touch and to serve another being, something really magnificent happens. And not just in the physical world, but in the spiritual world, in the spirit of the being. And I realize that that is because these are the hands of God. So, at the end of the service, of course, that really resonated with me, which means that really became a part of my consciousness, a part of my belief that these are the hands of God. And of course, when we have an aha moment, and it becomes one of our beliefs, and it becomes part of our consciousness, well, we have something in this universe that will take that and bring stuff up in our lives. And last week, some extraordinary events took place. So since last Sunday, that Monday morning, a colleague walks into my office. Now, we had had a bit of discord the Friday before. Of course, I did nothing wrong. Minister. Actually, no one was right and no one was wrong. It's kind of like in the prayer and in the song, you know, sometimes life gets complicated and we get a little stressed out and we get a little overwhelmed, and sometimes we just don't act from the best of who we are. But I prayed about it all weekend because he is a lovely, lovely friend, very powerful, devout Christian. And so I prayed all weekend, and when it came up for me, I used the prayer from the Path to Wealth. So every time I thought about it, I bless you, I forgive you, I release you. I bless you, I forgive me, I release me. That Monday morning, that colleague walks into my office and he puts his hand out like this. And it wasn't like, it was, and I thought, oh gosh, here we go. So he puts his hand out, and I thought, okay, he's inviting a handshake. So I grab his hand, and he simply says, last week was last week, and it is gone. And this week is this week, and it's a new week. And I replied, last week is so far away, I don't even know what you're talking about. And we shook each other's hands, and it was done. And as he walked away, I thought to myself, those ministers of mine. Because our hands are the hands of God. And when they are used aright, when they touch, they create peace. One day last week, I'm asked to go to someone's home. An individual who is leaving this earth. is making their transition. And I have to tell you, I find that there is no greater honor in life than for someone to ask you to come and be with them as they leave here. And so we prayed, and although it's not something that we generally do in prayer, the family really encouraged holding. And so together we held each other's hands and we prayed. I know Russell has a pic. We'll shine up next one. And the words that came through me were not words of my own. All is well. Peace be with you. Be still. Breathe. It's okay to let go. And the entire energy in the room changed, and any appearance of anxiousness or tension or uncertainty just simply melted away. It became a sacred place. Our hands are the hands of God, and when they are used right, when they touch, they create peace. And then last week, an anniversary, April 4th, 1968. 50 years ago, we remembered a man. A man who knew the importance of hands, who I believe knew that our hands are the hands of God. And this man gave everything he had to teach us that our hands are all the same. And that when we join hands, regardless of the color, regardless of where they are from, that these hands, when they come together, create an unbreakable chain. A chain that can't be broken, and truly a chain that can break through any barrier that the human race can face. And he had a dream. And his dream was that one day humankind would know what to do with their hands. And he said this: I have a dream that one day little black boys and girls will be holding hands with little white boys and girls. What I know is that Dr. King knew that our hands are the hands of God. And when they are used aright and when they touch, they create peace. All in 1 week. So throughout the week, from these lenses, I started to realize how important, our hands are, how instrumental they are in our lives. I realized how the infinite literally works through our hands, the individual's hands, to touch the world. And I began very mindful. I'm watching how we are using our hands all the time to take care of ourselves, to feed ourselves, to serve others, to lift others up, to build a bond with others. And I found that we are literally touching all day long. We're touching the people, the things, the creatures. And what I found very interesting is not only are we always touching, but every time we touch, we leave our mark. Every time we touch something, we leave a part of us there. We leave a fingerprint. That unique stamp that each of us has is left on everything that we touch. And so as I prayed about this and I observed this and I contemplated this, something very powerful came up for me, and it was this. There is something else that we are touching 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Because there is an infinite, an invisible, an intelligent, a powerful, a creative medium that is all around us. There is no space or place where this medium is not. And we are continually touching that medium with the hands of our thoughts, with the hands of our words, with the fingers of our feelings. And every time we think, every time we speak, every time we feel, we're leaving our fingerprints on that medium. And that medium absorbs these fingerprints, these impressions, and it takes these fingerprints and creates blueprints, which it uses to create everything in our world. There is no greater freedom when you think about it. So, I got all sidetracked there because I kind of got excited. But really, in a sense, when you think about it, we are literally touching our physical world with the invisible hands of our thoughts. So when we have a moment where we feel like the world is touching us, that we're being touched with tenderness and with love and abundance and with ease and grace, that touch is literally coming from us. Now conversely, when we feel that the world is touching us with harshness, with lack, with dis-ease, what we must recognize is that touch is coming from us. So, if that is so, then how do we make sure that we touch our lives with that which is noble and wondrous and good? Dr. Holmes, I found, had some amazing gems of wisdom around how to create the right things in our lives. And of course, Dr. Holmes is the author of the Science of Mind textbook, founder of our teaching. And in 1919, he wrote a book called Creative Mind and Success. And he says on page 15, in order to be sure that we are creating the right kind of a mental atmosphere and so attracting what we want, we must at first watch our thinking. Bless you. Well, you didn't write that in there. That's right. Touching you. Bless you. In order to be sure that we are creating the right kind of a mental atmosphere and so attracting what we want, we must at first watch our thinking, lest we create that which we should not like to see manifest. In other words, we must think only what we wish to experience. He goes on to say, all is mind, and mind casts back at the thinker that only which he thinks. Nothing ever happens by chance. Law governs all people, all life, and all come under that law. But that law, so far as we are concerned, we ourselves set it in motion. And we do this through the power of our thought. Each person is living in a world of his own making. And he should speak only such words and think only such thoughts as he wishes to see manifested in his life. Listen, we must not hear, think, speak, read, or listen to limitation of any kind. There is no way under heaven whereby we can think two kinds of thoughts and only get one result. It is impossible. And the sooner we realize it, the sooner we shall arrive. Good job, Mr. Holmes. We must think only that. We must think only what we wish to experience. Those are the kinds of fingerprints we want to leave on this medium, this law. In the same book, on page 30 and 31, he says this: the ordinary individual sitting down to give a treatment to his business unconsciously does just the thing that he should have avoided. And then he wonders why he did not get the desired results. Most people simply sit and wish for or long for something. They may even have a great desire or hope. They may even go so far as to believe that their desire is going to happen. All this is good as far as it goes, but it does not go far enough. What we must do is to provide that already having received attitude. This may seem hard at first, but we can easily see that it is necessary. And it is the only way that mind works. This is what we must do. When we give a treatment, this is all that we have to do. But before we can do even this, we have to clear our minds of all fear, of every sense of separation from the divine mind. Law is, but we must enforce it or use it in our own lives. Nothing can happen to us that is not already an accepted belief in our own consciousness. Nothing can happen to us that is not first an accepted belief in our own consciousness. We all need more backbone and less wishbone. So he says we must provide the already having received attitude. Listen. The medium, the law, mirrors in life exactly what is in mind. So if in our mind we know it's going to happen someday, the law has to mirror in our world that it's going to happen someday. If we're hoping and wanting it to come, the law has to mirror you wanting and hoping that it will come in your physical world. It's when we know with absolute certainty that that which we desire is already so and in our lives, and we are thinking and living from it, that it will show up in our lives. It is done unto you as you believe. One more, Dr. Holmes, in another one of his books, How to Change Your Life, he tells us on page 282, you are some part of the divine whole, and the power and the presence of the Spirit is in the word you speak. And that word instantly and perfectly and permanently makes things whole. Know that you are an individualization of the Spirit. which is the source of wholeness, love, reason, and intelligence. Empty yourself of any and every thought that denies this. Know silently but effectively that the divine power of the invisible Spirit works in you here and now. He goes on to say then, your mind and thought contain the key to successful living. You are the captain of your soul. And Dr. Holmes says, for good physical health, say this: I have the will to be well, to be happy, and to live in joy. I affirm that there is only the likeness of good health in my experience. I am seeing this good, believing in it, thinking about it, and expecting it to continue. All that I do with joy. All whom I meet, I embrace with thoughts of love. I know that every activity of my physical body is now in perfect rhythm with the one perfect life. My body is the temple of the living God. I am made new and whole in this moment as the love of God permeates me. God's life is my life now. Now the reason, let me tell you something. I went in for my last physical, and the doctor begins, well, you're at that age. I said, words we do not use. And he says, well, statistically, words we do not use. Because I'm approaching that thing you call 60. But at my last workout, I bench pressed over 200 pounds to 250 sit-ups, and I ran 5 miles. Bam, dropped the mic. What you must know, my dear doctor, is I am a religious scientist. I am not an age, and I am not a statistic. I am the divine infinite mind, and that trumps everything on this physical plane. And somebody said, well, that's really narcissistic. You're acting very, uppity about yourself. Well, let me tell you something. You better figure out what your story is, or the world is going to tell it for you. We must learn to use our fingertips, the thoughts of our fingertips, and press them on the creative medium to have the life that we really want. And it's all possible. So we've talked about our physical hands and how we touch the world with them. We talked about our mental and spiritual hands and how we touch the world with them. But I want to show you something very wondrous. Because something extraordinary happens when we use the hands of our minds and the hands of our physical body together in the right way. Wrestle. So this week, I encourage us to remember just how powerful we are. And sometimes I think we're more powerful than we even remember. Because we're the individual in the universal, and the universal in the individual. Let us be mindful that we are touching our lives and the lives of others and the world at every moment, both with our mental and spiritual hands and with our physical hands. And let us remember that our hands are the hands of God. And when they are used aright and when they touch, we can create peace. Use them wisely. Have a great week.
Please welcome again.
The beautiful and talented Michelle Wood. It's okay to clap. The orbit of your soul is a mystery.
speaker next weekend?
We do, and guess what? Russell has a video to show us. Dr. Ken Gordon, who is our spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living, and also our keynote speaker on Friday will be here speaking next Sunday. So we have a little video to show you. Where is it, Russell? There it is. Woo-hoo.
Dr. Ken Gordon, spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living, coming to you with our third week in April, where our theme is Where Humanity and Divinity Meet. This week's topic is brought to us by Reverend Jill Brocklehurst from Campbell River, British Columbia. And what her topic is God talks to the heart. You know, in this teaching, what we believe is we believe in two foundational means of being able to practice with Spirit. The first one is that we believe in visioning and we believe in meditation. We know that that is the place that we hear God, that we hear Spirit flow through us from that point. The other one is spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, and we believe that that is where we speak to God and we in turn direct and move from that particular place. But when we actually think about God talks to the heart, what it's really saying is that God talks through our emotions and our feelings, not necessarily through our head. Our head is filled with all kinds of ideas and things that are floating around that may or may not be true. My teacher, Dr. Tom Costa, used to say that in the middle of the word belief is the word lie. And that is quite often the truth in my experience for myself anyway. Dr. Holmes writes in Love and Law, "We are living in mind and there is nothing but mind and its manifestation. Right then and there you begin to declare and make your declaration the eternal truth of mind. Then think impersonally, and you must feel you are stating the truth about the universal. That gives you a bigger concept and a bigger receptivity for a bigger power. The only reason I know for doing it is that you'll get better results by doing it." He also wrote, "Jesus spent much of the time communing with his own soul, for it is through our inner thought that we contact God." And that, of course, is from the Science of Mind textbook. And in Love and Law, he says, "Everything is governed by law. The law is written in our own hearts, and we are governed by it." Love and law. The creation and the manifestation of anything in our life comes through thoughts plus feelings. Knowing that when our thinking matches our feelings, that the end result out of that is we get a manifestation. The simple truth of the matter is that quite often my thinking and what I want in my life and what I feel in my life are two different things. I misinterpret my feelings perhaps, and I look at it from a different point of view than what's really going on. But if I go back to the very basics of the truth of who I am, if I go back to where humanity and divinity meet within the key and the core of my being, what I can find is I can find that there is an alignment between the two. And when my thinking aligns with my feelings, the end result is the expression, the demonstration, and the manifestation becomes my reality. So, have a great week. Talk to you next week. Know you're loved and know you're honored. God bless you. Thank you.
See you next week. Some of you I'll see Friday.
All right, well, let us try to bring this to a close. And so we'll ask any ministers or visiting ministers to please come forward. We'll bring all of our practitioners forward. And let us just join and stand and join. And we'll do our closing treatment. And so let us just take a deep collective breath. And I just simply celebrate the idea that all there is this one thing we call the universal. And what I know is the universal expresses itself in the individual. What I know then is that the universal is expressing itself in each individual here. And it is expressing its infinite power, love, intelligence, and abundance. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for the gift of life. I give thanks for this teaching. It teaches me how to live this life successfully. I give thanks for each hand, for it is the hand of God. And when I know that this week, each hand, the hand of God, will touch the world around it and leave the fingerprints of love, of health, of abundance, and peace. I am so grateful to be a part of all of it. I know it is good because it is God. And so I release my word now to the perfect workings of the law. I know that it is done exactly as I have said. I let go, I let God, and together we say, and so it is. Let's eat.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
And so it is.
And so it